So, I go to my computer one morning, I turn it on, I look at my YouTube recommended, and look, One Punch Man Season 2. I get some new pants. I watch the trailer. Oh no. One Punch Man Season 2 is almost all out. The series isn't concluded, but I think we have enough evidence now that it's not going to change, so I can just make an assessment now before it ends. And the points will still be valid. I don't think in one episode or two episodes or however many we have, it's suddenly going to change into the best animated show anyone's ever seen. Eat your heart out, Studio Ghibli. We've got fucking these guys over here. The people involved with the animation of Berserk. Ooh, watch out. They're coming for that Animated Movie of the Year award. So One Punch Man Season 2, I believe, is a satire or parody more likely, of the shonen genre. Shonen genre, I think shonen means boy. Usually what young boys like is young boys being ultra powerful. Shonens include Bleach, which has the main character with the red hair who's incredibly powerful. And One Punch Man is doing a parody of this kind of power system that belongs to the shonen genre, where there's this one eponymous male character who's incredibly powerful. He's been gifted godlike abilities, and he always triumphs against these increasingly more deadly foes. Despite how powerful they are, the main character always triumphs, and this is just taking the absolute piss out of that. Every powerful being in existence in the world of One Punch Man fares no chance against Saitama. Saitama is Superman if Superman got super jacked, took roids on the daily, ate nothing but meat, just straight protein shakes every morning, benched the planet, and then did a couple of laps around the face of the earth. That's Saitama for you. He's horrendously overpowered, and every foe he fights against, he just kills it in one punch. The reason the show never gets boring is because it does evolve. Saitama's power level may never evolve, and that's what the show is based on, but that's not really it. Like, the show's about so much more. It's about the hierarchy of being a hero, it's about desires, it's about family. That was Star Wars The Last Jedi reference, for all you cool kids out there. All of these other premises are evolving. Saitama, he's making some progression with some friends. He met King, he's now friends with King. He's friends with Bang. He's also become friends with Fubuki. And I can see a couple of reasons why he might have done that. His relationships are evolving. It's not like Saitama remains a static, lonely loser. He is progressing. And the savior of the show, Garo. Garo is the perfect thing to add to One Punch Man. He's a character that actually works within the world. He's not overpowered like Saitama. He's basically the power level of every other creature in the show. The audience, the viewer, gets to see his journey, they get to see his motivations, and they get to see him evolving into this more powerful being. It's this form of evolution that the show was really lacking, because Saitama just remains at God tier all the time. But to have a character that's slowly getting to God tier, that is something that makes it very, very entertaining to watch. So despite the fact that Saitama is still one-punching everything, it's still not gotten old. I don't know if a day will come when it gets old and we lose our hair and go bald. But for now, the story is minty. If I was to have one criticism of the show, it would be Saitama as a character is a bit one note. I really, really like Saitama, and I think he is a nuanced character. But I think some of the dialogue he's given is just... you could mix it up. I think the point where it really got me was... maybe it was episode 2 or 3 of One Punch Man, the original series, where Saitama is talking to the lion guy. The House of Evolution guy buries him in concrete, says, "I'm gonna kill you, son." And Saitama says, "Oh, I'm just adjusting my buckle. Sorry, be a minute." That was funny the first couple of times when you made everything trivial, but Don't use the same joke so many times. But the fact that I don't laugh at every single one of the jokes doesn't mean it's a bad show. It's a fantastic show. It's a fantastic manga, and it's a fantastic idea, and it's really well executed. So for those of you not familiar with Season 1, it was directed and created and animated by Madhouse. Madhouse Studio is pretty good with fluid motion, so I've heard. So the animation studio behind Season 2 of One Punch Man is, yeah. And they've also done, yeah. So I wasn't familiar with them until now, and then I kind of wish I was still unfamiliar with them. In truth, they're not that bad, but they're just not that good. This is a studio which I get the distinct feeling just gets jobs done. Like, it's not a matter of passion or getting it done to a very high quality, it's just a matter of getting it done. For a show like One Punch Man, which had some of the best animation I've ever seen, it's a bit of a one punch in the dick. Let's just say that the animators either lacked the time to complete One Punch Man Season 2, or they didn't put in the effort to make it visually appealing, or they didn't have the budget to do it, or they might not have the skill to bring One Punch Man to life. Maybe it was a bit of all four, but the result is that the animation is more lifeless than Orlando Bloom when he's trying to act. So it just falls flat. So first of all, my problem with the animation is that there's limited to no motion on screen. I mean, there's a little bit, but the backgrounds are static. I mean, that's not a terrible thing, but maybe if you're gonna set an entire show inside of a stadium, you'd give some animations to the background characters. They're pretty much just still shots, ripped straight from the manga and colorized, and that's it. I can forgive them for not making it move in the background while Saitama and whatever his face are fighting. What I can't forgive is when it zooms in on the crowd to give a reaction shot, right? If you're going to create a reaction shot, surely you'd have people reacting, people moving. It's not enough to just have some facial expressions. There needs to be some movement. You can't imagine how much is expressed through movement. So when you've got a reaction shot and you want to communicate the excitement of a crowd, you need to have the crowd moving. Otherwise, all of the life and excitement is just sucked out of it. But the crowd is completely lifeless and completely still. It's really bizarre. I'm not saying that every background should have movement. That would be unrealistic for this type of studio. But there are some points where you need to animate the background. You need to put some life into the frame. Come on. And I'm not saying that this animation studio that's taken on One Punch Man Season 2 isn't taking pride in their work. But, well, I kind of am saying that. But I'm also saying that they're just shit. And that this animation studio is willing to cut corners and just do a bit of a hack job to get it done. Which is such a departure from the fantastic animation of the first series. Sometimes One Punch Man Season 2 feels more like a PowerPoint presentation than a show. These fights between Saitama and the other martial artists in the arena have no animation, or maybe 1 or 2 frames. Often the only thing that will be moving is maybe someone's mouth as they're speaking and the character flying away because they've been punched by Saitama. That means that there's a grand total of 1 to 5% of the frame that's actually moving, and the rest is entirely still at any given time. Each frame has maybe 1 to 5% of it moving, and the rest is completely static. The later episode is where it's more apparent. The arena stuff is have such little movement on screen, just makes it feel lifeless. And it's not just the backgrounds, and it's not just the fact that there's a lack of movement. The characters themselves also have been stripped of a lot. The characters are lacking expression, and oftentimes they're really poorly rendered. I think I could probably do a better job animating some of these faces, and I would do it with crayons and my Play-Doh brain. I can think of a key example here. There's one shot in the arena where everyone's being force-fed monster jism, or whatever it is, I don't know. They're all shocked and horrified by this transformation, and they're standing back. But look at their faces. Okay, so let's reflect on One Punch Man Season 1. Was there ever a glaring example where the characters looked proper terrible? I cannot recall one. There's no specific shot I have in mind where that was the case. So what's changed from One Punch Man Season 1 to Season 2 for the faces to suddenly look this terrible? Well, it's changed animation studios. And I know the animation studio isn't terrible. It's probably filled with interns, children sold into slavery, who are now working the animation studio 14 hours a day for the payment of one bowl of rice. I mean, that's probably what's happening, but even so, the animation looks so shitty. Look at these faces, man, and tell me that this is okay. No, it's not. The characters in One Punch Man Season 2 feel very static. They don't move a lot. They don't feel like they're alive. They kind of just stand around and talk. So let's do a thought experiment, just to test it out. I want you to watch an episode of One Punch Man Season 2, preferably in the latest episodes, because that's where I'm really picking on it for being shit. Episodes 6 to 8, thereabouts. I want you to take a look at them, and I want you to ignore the moving mouths. Maybe cover up their moving mouths with a hand, and I want you to tell me what movement is now left on the screen. They've not really adapted the manga into an animation, they've just colorized the manga. If you're going to animate something, take full advantage of it being an animation. Think of how much you could do with an animation, how much One Punch Man Season 1 did do with its animation. It's fucking incredible what it could do. It translated the energy and the intentions of the manga into the animation, and even surpassed it in some points. Look at the fight between Saitama and whatever his face, the alien conqueror dude. Look at what they did for the animation for that. It's gorgeous. One Punch Man Season 2 doesn't take advantage of any of the animation. It feels like animation, if anything, is something to be avoided in One Punch Man Season 2. They try their best not to animate things because animation would take time. Madhouse didn't avoid animation, they cherished it. The animation for this season has hurt me dearly. Not at the start. At the start, it was okay. And I had to give the animation studio props for carrying the style and the feel of One Punch Man using their limited assets and their limited time. Initially, I had hope. But these later episodes have really just kicked me in the balls, and I cannot forgive them. They've used some of the cheapest, laziest tricks to animate this series. At times, the animation actually is distractingly bad, and that's not something that should ever occur to an audience. People, the thing to learn from this is that you don't get second chances. When you create something, it is done. There is only one One Punch Man Season 2. There is only one The Last Jedi. There is only one Game of Thrones Season 8. They will never be recreated. It doesn't matter how many petitions you sign. Once something has been released, that's it. One Punch Man Season 2, animated by this studio, will always be One Punch Man Season 2. One Punch Man Season 2 will always look this bad. So if you're going to do something, do it right, or hand it off to someone else who can do it right. I hate to be negative. One Punch Man Season 2 is actually, for the story, quite good. But the animation has left me quite flaccid and upset. Okay, a little channel update. I'm back, bitches. It's been busy, but I'm returning to my schedule. I'm going to be doing more video essays like this. hopefully every week, so subscribe for that. And I hope to see you later. Ta-ta.